Now, I've been saying all along that President Trump is a pretty terrible person, right? And we have all these different hints about how he treats people close to him and what he says about women and what he says about other people. And the truth is that it's actually worse if you're his friend. Apparently, Trump had come up with plans to sleep with his friends' wives. I kid you not. According to Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury, Trump had an intricate plan of deception with the stated goal of being able to sleep with his friends' wives. This is amazing. Now, Katie Torr, who is NBC News' former embedded reporter who followed the Trump campaign around, she actually tweeted out a highlighted section. I'm going to read that to you now. Trump liked to say that one of the things that made life worth living was getting your friends' wives into bed. In pursuing a friend's wife, he would try to persuade the wife that her husband was perhaps not what she thought. Then, he'd have his secretary ask the friend into his office. Once the friend arrived, Trump would engage in what was for him, more or less, constant sexual banter. Let me give you an example of that. Do you still like having sex with your wife? How often? You must have had a better fuck than your wife. Tell me about it. I have girls coming in from Los Angeles at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs and have a great time, I promise. And while he's talking about all this stuff, he's got the girlfriend listening in on the speakerphone, or the wife listening in on the speakerphone. That's amazing. And it's incredibly gross, right? So you're going to set your friend up. You're going to drive apart relationships. You're going to encourage people to cheat on each other. And then, like a predator waiting, you're going to swoop in and be like, hey, baby, I'm sorry he did you wrong like that. Don't worry, though. Daddy Trump is here with you. I'm here for you. Amazing. Amazing. What kind of friend causes all that misery all in an effort to sleep with your wife? That's crazy. And look, to be fair, some people are kind of into that. In fact, I think the right has a word for that. And look, if you're into that, you're into that. But and if you happen to be a friend of Donald Trump, he can hook you up. He's more than happy to sleep with your wife. I'm not hating on those people, but for everyone else, who would want to be friends with someone like that? I mean, Jesus. And the sad thing is, I know people like Donald Trump, except without having the money, right? They're the same kind of people who would do the same kind of thing. They'd be more than willing to fuck over their friends in order to steal their dates, their girlfriends, or wives, also they can have sex with them. It's crazy. But it also goes to show how they think about women as nothing more than objects to be fought over. And I know it's not surprising that President Trump is a bad person, but now we're just getting the details of how terrible of a person he actually is. I mean, the Access Hollywood tape should have been enough for people to make up their minds, because that's when he basically admitted, yes, I grabbed women by the genitals without consent. Well, they let me do it. They let me do it. Well, how do you know if you didn't ask? If you ask and they let you, hey, I don't have a problem with that. That's consensual. That's your business. But you grab them because you think you can without consent, well, then that's the problem, right? And he had been caught bragging about fondling women without that consent. So I don't think it's much of a stretch to think that he would do other things that is obviously very deceptive and just terrible. And this is another one of those things where he actually tries to set people up, set up friends, and to try and ruin relationships, also that he can get women to sleep with him. That's who Donald Trump is. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.